Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night from where or when you're watching this video. This is John from IT Skills Academy, and I take this opportunity to welcome you back to my channel. We continue to create the inventory management system, and we are in episode 11. In episode 10, we started to create this point of sale, but as it is static. And so in this episode, we want to make it dynamic by adding some PHP script, such that a person can be able to select the product he or she wants to purchase, select how many he or she wants, add to the cart, and that should appear here. I'm currently running a poll where I'm asking how long we would want my videos to be. And currently most of you want my videos to be 30 minutes maximum. So as you can see, we don't have a lot of time, so let's get started. But first, as usual, we roll the intro, shall we? Alright, so thanks for choosing to continue to learn with IT Skills Academy. So right now we are going to head on to the Visual Studio Code, and I'm just going to remove some of these pages that we don't need for now. And so this is the script for the pause page. As you can see, we are having the products, as you can see from there. If I scroll down here, you're going to see the other product, just like that. So this is because these products, as it starts now, they are static, and we just did in episode 10, we just did the HTML part of it. So what we're just going to do, or to start with, probably is to first of all get rid of some of these products, so that we're just left with one that we are going to work with. So I'm just deleting this. So this is the product that we're just going to work with for now. We're going to get everything from the database except the image. Maybe we're going to fix that later. So we're just going to fetch the name of the product and the price of the product, and display them here. So to be able to do that, I'm just going to, so we're going to have the PHP script that will help us to fetch the data from the database and hence make our table dynamic. So to be able to do that, first of all, let me just have some comments here just to help you guys understand. So it's not like we should always have them. So let me just come and say PHP script. So we're going to have that there, and so to be able to do that, of course, first of all, we're going to open and close the PHP tag. And now within the PHP tag, the first thing that we want to do inside here is to be able to connect to the database. So to be able to connect to the database, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and require, and we are requiring a page called con.php. This is the page that includes the PHP scripts that helps us to connect to the database. So it is inside the includes folder, so I'm just going to come and say includes, and the file name is con.php. And now after successfully connecting to the database, we can now be able to create the SQL or the select statement. So we're going to first of all create a variable called SQL, and we'll set that to be equal to select all from a table called a store. So yes, I have the product stored in a table called store. So basically this is the select statement that will help us to like select the product from the store table. And the other thing that we also want to do is to have a variable called results, and set that to be equal to mysqli underscore query, and this will have the parameters con, that is the connection to the database, and the SQL. So it's like we're selecting, it's like we are first of all checking if the connection to the database is successful and whether we are able to run this select statement successfully. So if that is the case, we want to be able to count the number of rows. We want to be able to count the number of rows. And so what we are going to do before we count the number of rows is to test whether the less returns true or false. So to be able to do that, we're going to use the if statement. And the condition of our if statement will be if less, that is the result, is equal true. So it's like whatever you are going to do down here will be determined by if this is true. Else if it is false, then we will not be able to run the code down here. It should like just tell us something else. Right, so if it is true, then what we want to do is we want to be able to count the number of rows. So we're just going to create a variable called count, and we are going to set that to be equal to mysqli underscore num underscore rows. So this is just a statement that will help us to count the number of rows, and the parameter will be a result or res. And so now that we count the number of rows, we can be able to check if they are greater or less than 0. So down and inside the if statement, we're going to create yet another if statement and check if the count is greater than 0. So if the count is greater than 0, then it means we have some records, and so the code will be the while loop. So we're going to create an associative while loop inside here. So I'm just going to come and say while, and we're going to have a variable rows and set that to be equal to mysqli underscore fetch underscore assoc. So this being an array, or sorry, this being a loop, it will be able to loop through all the records that we have in the table store and echo them on our system, or echo them in the front end. So this one should have the parameter res. Yeah, don't forget that. So now inside our while loop, we're going to store the records that we want in various variables. Now we already have the records stored in this specific variable here, and so now down here we want to be able to like store them in various variables so that we can be able to like echo them. So like the first one can be ID, and that will be equal to this variable here, this variable rows, and we want to be specific on the record that we want, and the record that we want is ID. And we also want the product name and the price, so we'll duplicate that twice, and here we want the product name, product, so the product name, and we also want the price. We also want the price, so we're going to have that there. As simple as that. Now after that, what we want to do is to embed our HTML code that has the card inside this while loop. And to be able to do that, the first thing that we're going to do is to sort of terminate the PHP tag that we opened here, and we also come and open it down here, such that now we have these curly brackets enclosed within PHP tag, and we also have this code here enclosed within the PHP tag. So now we can just come and now copy our card. So this card here, we want to just come and have it within that loop, as I've said. So I'm just highlighting it like that, and just cut it, and I want to come and have it inside here. So now before we do anything else, we want to check if our code is working as we would expect. And so we are having a problem here that we have undefined index price. I think this one should not be price, but should be selling price. That's the name, that is the name that we have in the database. So it should be selling underscore price. So and we should just store that in the price there. So if I come and refresh that, that's what we should have. So it means we have how many products? We have 6, 7, 8. We have 8 products in the database, but now we're just getting one that is big bag, because that is the code that we currently have, the HTML code that we currently have. But what just gives us hope is that it is able to know like how many products that we have in the database. That means our PHP script is working properly. So all we are just left to do is to just come to our HTML code here, and now this one, instead of being big bag, we're going to have some PHP script here. So PHP, and basically here we just come and echo product name, and we'll do the same with the price. So if we refresh that, that's what we have. And oh sorry, I wish we have not changed this. This should be price. This should be price. And as you can see now, we're able to get the product 4 test onions, product that carrots, blah blah blah, like that. And I also think we can also be able to have the image as well. So before we have the image somewhere here, we also need to come and include it here. So I have it as image name, and now we want to be able to echo it here. So for that reason, how we do the image is that we're just going to come and we're going to echo the image, So PHP echo image underscore name. Yeah, and so as you can see, we are now able to get the products as we would expect. So we are having the product image, the product name, and the price. And oh, sorry, what's the problem? We're having a problem with this one. Okay, yeah, it's fine, it's working fine. I think it had not loaded that completely. Alright, so now that we successfully have the products displayed here, the next thing that we want to make possible is if a person comes to this page, the person can be able to purchase this product, and he can be able to like purchase several of them, and also be able to sort of check out, like, okay, pay for that specific product or the products. So how I have done it is that I've created two tables, one called sales order and another one called sales. And as you would have guessed, the sales order will be the purchase that or the products that the user is like continuing to select and adding to cart. Alright, and then when the customer pays for the product added to the cart, the products are moved to the sales tab. Yeah, so the products in the sales are those that are fully purchased, and those that are in the sales order are those that, like, yeah, some orders are being made, or like the client is like in the process of selecting the products he or she is purchasing. Alright, so enough of the long explanation. Let's do it practically and see if this works for us. Alright, so let's get back to the Visual Studio. So we are back here in the code, and in this card of ours that is helping us to have this these products here, you can see we only have one input. We only have one input, and we want to be able to insert this data into the database using the post method. And if you're going to use the post method, then it means we need to have the input field. So and now that we only have one, it means we need to have several. So we need to have several of these. So how I have done it is that I will duplicate these inputs or these input fields, and if you just leave them like that, they will just be visible in our table here or in our page here, but we don't want that. So for that case, for the type, we're going to have it as hidden. So we're just going to have these as hidden. Yeah, just like that. And for the value, we're going to echo the specific record that we want. Yeah, so if it is the product name, or if it is the price, or if it's the quantity. Yeah, so that's what we're going to have there. So the first one will be the product name. So I'm going to get rid of one, and here I'll have the PHP closing and opening tags, and here I'll echo the product name. So this one will just help me to get the name of the product, and I also want to get the price as well. So this one should give it price. This one, just have it like this, just to help us to save time. So that I now just come and change this to price. and this one we can have it as a quantity, and okay, this one should be quantity. So this quantity is like the number of the specific product that we have. So if it is like shoes, how many pair of shoes do we have? If it is like cars, how many cars do we have? Like the number of products, a specific product that we have. And here we'll also be having the invoice. So like this will be the sort of the invoice number that will be attached to the number of the products that the user is or the customer is going to purchase. We don't have this yet in the quantity. So for the quantity of the product, we have it in the store, so we can be able to come and pull it from here. So here we can just come and have a quantity. So that is already on the database. How many pairs of shoes do we have? How many onions do we have? How many X products do we have? So QTY. Okay, so we now have those there, and now we also need to have the name. So we're going to come and add a name here. So name is equals, so this one, the name will be product name, this one will be price, sorry, oh sorry, I don't know what's happening here. Let me just highlight it properly. So the product name, I think we have an extra one here. Alright, so just like that, and sorry, this one should be hidden. Alright, so we have that, and I think the other thing that we can also fix right now is the invoice. And so now to be able to do that, I'm going to head on back to well, now here I am in this dashboard, and what I want to do is, if I click on this sales button, a random number is created, and that random number is the one that will act like the invoice number that will be attached to all the products that the user will like purchase in that specific time. If the person goes back and clicks the sales and in here again, another invoice number will be created. So to be able to do that, I have some script that will help us to create a random number. I've been using it to create sort of passwords, random numbers that will act like passwords, and so I'll just use it to just help me to create a random number that will act like an invoice. And so here in the index.php we have this script that is helping us to create an invoice number, and I've stored that in a variable called IVN. So when the number is created, it will be stored here. So when I echo this, I should be able to get that random number. So if we just go down to where the button is, so that is the sales button. So I should just scroll, yeah, and we have it here. So I'll pass that number through this ring. So to be able to do that, I'll say question mark, and so I'll say IVN is equals, and here I'll have PHP, and I'll echo it here, so IVN. So now if I refresh and point the cells, as you can see from the bottom left here, we're able to get the invoice number as 6.8239. So that's the number that we want to pass to the sales page, or to the point of sales page. And so to make that possible, I'll just now go back to the pose.php page, and we're going to use the if statement to get that. So I can just come and have it anywhere. Let me just have it on top here. So I just say PHP, and I just come and say if is set get, because we'll be using the get method. We'll be passing this through the link, so we use the get method, and this will be IVN, and we should sort that IVN is equals to this, and now that we have it like that, we can now even try to echo it somewhere. Let's just try to echo it here, just in here, as long as we can see it. PHP echo variable IVN. Alright, so IVN, sorry, we're having a typo. This should be INV and not IVN. Yeah, so somewhere here. So this one should be INV for invoice. So now when we click on the cells, yeah, and to be able to be within the 30-minute limit, I'm just going to pause the video from that point, or at that point, and we'll pick it from there in the next episode. So hope this was helpful. If it was helpful, kindly like it, subscribe if you have not subscribed to IT Skills Academy for video updates. Also, I would also request you to participate in the various polls that I'm running, just to be able to make this channel nice, and also be able to provide what you guys want. So without so much ado, let's just pause it at that point, and let's see you in the next one. Stay safe.